This is a
Squad. What's up? What's up?
That ball is belted. Welcome in Carlos Gomez. Hello. Goodbye.
Ay, 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 ay.
Prescott down the middle. Butler makes a move.
Oh man, yeah. We rocking now for real. Yeah. BS3 Sports. Okay. Sports news, get it first when you're getting off of work. Even when you're at work, acting like you're working hard when you're hardly working. I'm a maverick like Dirk, getting Franklins like Kirk. Hold up, boy. X Squad, you don't know them boys? Being talking facts on every topic. Overall, we just talking noise, just being boys. Covering Texas sports in them tall heels. That with the fake pass over to Elliott. Better guard your grills like a car for real. Yeah, Cowboys gonna bring a bowl back, Lord willing. Yeah, Mavericks gonna bring a ring back with Mark in it. We live sports, we talk sports, we dream sports, we eat sports. The teacher about to teach the course. Welcome to BS3 Sports. Ay, 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 ay. Bruce! Oh, man, yeah.
Welcome to a special edition of the BS3 Sports Show. Doing a show today, not tomorrow. We got a great show planned for today's show entitled NBA Playoffs Get Bloody. We'll be talking about the game from last night with the Blazers and the Nuggets. Also, Big Three. The Big Three draft was yesterday, so I'll highlight some players that we're aware of and that we know. Also, we got NFL news. We got Major League Baseball news. We got a great show. You know how we do it. Action-packed for an hour. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time, also join in on the show chat room. If you're listening in, join in on the conversation. It gets very interactive. I'll give you a shout out. It's definitely worth listening to. And make sure you follow X Squad Radio on Spreaker so that you can be on top of all the shows. Also, shout out to my fam at the No Phony Podcast Network showing support like they do as well. Shout out to Shelly Q in the building. Miss Mocha Bella came in first. Thank you. Also, we got Mo Cheese in the building as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The game from last night, which is what brought me to the title of this show. The Nuggets and the Blazers, which has been literally a knockdown, drag out type of series. They've been going at it. Shout out to Nikola Jokic, who's been balling out. Him, Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum. But there's another player that has been surging for the Nuggets. His name is Torrey Craig. So throughout the game, there was a point in the game where he's going up for a rebound. I believe Zach Collins hits him in the nose with an elbow. He immediately goes to the floor, and he's laying on the floor. People are walking over him. People are like, oh, I hope he's okay. Shout out to Ced Galloway in the building. Everybody's stepping over him, and, hopefully he's fine. Nobody's really that concerned. And then he gets up, and you see the blood spewing from his nose. And immediately I'm thinking like, okay, his nose has got to be broken. He's definitely not coming back in the game. Well, guess what? He comes back, still plays some quality minutes. Came back with the face mask guard on his nose to keep it protected. So shout out to Torrey Craig. I believe he's from Florida State. But big ups to him, man. That took guts right there. Normally, it is hard to come back from something like that, especially if his nose was broken. I don't know the severity of what exactly was the deal with his nose, but he came back, gave it some more, gave it an effort. Obviously, though, it was not enough for them. They still end up losing that game But that took a lot of guts right there. Portland, so they hold off Denver 97-90. Game 2. They still home court advantage. Also, I wanted to bring up, did you see the pass that Jokic threw between the legs of the defender? A bounce pass that he threw to Paul Millsap, I believe that's who that was. Great play, first of all. Great vision, great court vision, first of all, or second of all, for a big man at that. You don't see that very often. So they're going to continue to play well. I think the Nuggets are going to continue to play well. I think they're going to do whatever it takes to try to match up against Portland. But Portland and Denver is looking like the better series in the Western Conference at this point. You know, we got the Rockets and Warriors. Rockets down 2-0, which I said, if the Rockets go down 2-0, this series is over. And I still believe it. I still 100% believe it, that this series is probably over. I just don't see Houston coming back. You know, they're talking about Harden's going to be ready to go. His eye, which he definitely got poked in the eye, both eyes at that, which is that's as bad as it gets right there. Getting poked in both eyes, that's as bad as it gets. But I got to say, he came back in. Willis Reed type, he came back in, toughed it out, still was able to contribute for his team. But I just don't see Houston having enough firepower to be able to compete with the Warriors. And, you know, there was a story that I shared today basically saying that have the Rockets just blundered away their opportunity to beat the Warriors. And I would say, yes, you would have had to win one of these games, in my opinion. Also, with them not having Boogie, which they didn't have Boogie most of the year anyway, but that was some added depth for them. It's just going to be extremely tough, I think, for the Rockets to be able to truly compete. I don't care if that's a healthy Harden or not a healthy Harden, if he can see or can't see. So what does this say about Houston? Are they only a regular season team? Yes, Mocha, that is 100% correct. I believe they are only a regular season team. And when it comes to the playoffs, they just seem to go missing, or they seem to not be able to put it together. Also, like I said on the previous show, this is a D'Antoni ran team. D'Antoni teams do not win in the playoffs. They may go to the finals. They may go to the Western Conference or the Eastern Conference or whatever it may be. But they just do not succeed in the playoffs. They just don't. So, I mean, and I would love to see this go a different way. I would love to see this go 7 games. But I just don't know if this is going to happen. I think Houston will get one probably in Houston. And then when the Warriors come back, I think we're going to end up seeing this as a series that'll be over. It'll be sooner rather than later. I believe this series will be over with. Draymond poking Harden in the eye. You could clearly see it was a poke. It wasn't as if it was just something that did not happen. It definitely did happen. I do not think it was on purpose. You're going for the ball. You're going to try to make the best possible play. But that did definitely affect Houston. But you still have more games. So you cannot make that as an excuse. You cannot say, well, since we didn't have Harden, we couldn't win. You can't make that excuse. I know that they may still do that, but in my opinion, I don't think you can do that with a straight face and just think everybody will accept that excuse. So we got the next game coming up. I believe that'll be Friday with the Rockets and the Warriors. Coming up on tonight's game, we got the Raptors and the 76ers. That one's tied up 1-1. I think we're going to see that game or that series get extended. I'm definitely looking forward to that one, with it being tied up 1-1. And they're going to be playing, I believe, in Philly. So I'm definitely expecting Philly to come to show up and to play some good quality basketball. They are favored to win it. Butler's looking good. Hopefully, Embiid is healthy. But I'm still picking Philly. I think Philly should go to the Western Conference Finals along with the Celtics. That's the other team I'm going with. Shout out to From the Bottom, my man Cal in the building. Mochi says, Houston plotted to have an excuse is what I'm seeing. They weren't crying in the regular season about fouls when they beat Golden State. Yeah. Them coming out with that story was clearly, let's put this out there just in case we lose. It was almost like let's put this out there just in case we happen to lose. We can put a little bit of a filler out there to make people concerned or to make people sad or feel sorry for us if we lose the series again against the same team. And, there was a post that somebody made saying, so we wanted this to be the Western Conference Finals, which I definitely wanted this to be the Western Conference Finals. Obviously, as we can see at this point, that's not going to happen, obviously, because right now they're not in it. And we're not that far into it. But there's definitely going to be some excuses. So we continue to be on the lookout, see what happens. But I honestly don't see this series going in the Rockets' favor. And again, we bring up the conversation, like Mocha Bella said, is the Rockets only a regular season team? Is James Harden only a regular season player? But to answer that question, as far as James Harden, I would say no, because he's still contributing. He's still giving everything he's got. It's the rest of those guys on the team. And somebody on a radio show here in Dallas brought up Trevor Ariza. Them not having Trevor Ariza could definitely be huge for them. And I think as we're seeing right now, not having him definitely is causing an issue. But again, it's up to them. The ball's in their court now. They go back home. You have to win both. I think you got to win both. So we will definitely see what happens. Shout out to Melvin in the building, executive producer. Also, my pops for tuning in. Thank you. Houston really realized they wasn't ready. Facts, Kyle. Ben, you called it. Warriors win again. And hold on. Hold your horses, everybody. It's not over with yet. But they're down 2-0. And at this point in time, with everyone fully healthy except Big Boogie, and like I said, Boogie wasn't even playing in the first place, you can't go down 0-2 and expect to win a series against the Warriors. So whatever eye drops they're going to give Harden, which I'm sure they're at this very moment, they're probably giving him some eye drops. I think he's going to be ready to go. But again, the ball's in their court. They have to decide how they want to handle it, how they're going to go at it, how they're going to attack it. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see. So the game for tonight, who do you think's winning? Raptors, 76ers. They're playing in Philly. I'm going with the 76ers in this one. I think that series is the teams, I should say, are pretty equally matched. So we'll see what happens with that one as well. The other games coming up during this week, which Friday is probably going to have the marquee games. Well, not necessarily, but Bucks, Celtics, Trailblazers, Nuggets, and then